And we are back. Let's keep this thing moving. What else you got for us, brother Kate?
Okay, this time I got this was a ultimate favorite here. These guys right here. I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
hide that part.
Bad
Yeah, y'all
brains.
know them. Bad
Hmm.
Brains. First album started off as one of these only
What's that? Oh,
on a cassette.
cassette. Oh, okay.
It was hard to get.
Dang.
This is actually the reissue version, but that first album was a cassette tape. And again, I was listening to KALX.
Mm.
And DJ, they couldn't even just let he had to let some of the songs play because number one, they're short, and number two is they're just that bad, right? I mean, like bad as in good. And the other thing is nobody at the time, nobody was out here in California. Hardly anybody knew what they looked like.
Mm.
Um, and I'm gonna give you a little taste of what I heard first.
Okay.
This one right here. Fast too. So a lot of when I was into the punk rock thing, and this is like used to go to it with everybody. Now, this is punk rock. No, this is punk rock. No, everybody was talking new wave punk rock and whatever, or you know. But I mean, this was true hardcore. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. If they played fast and hard,
They are playing fast.
and this was like a demo, a demo tape of theirs. Uh, And they just, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna get into the history, but I can't. So, uh, but they would change up and play. They go like this. They do punk, and then they turn into this.
Mm.
So then they go into some reggae. So it was kind of like this weird dichotomy. However, with people that knew about the funk scene and all that in England, with groups like the Clash and this DJ named Don Letts. You kind of know that even Bob Marley had embraced the movement.
Mm.
'Cause the thing they all had in common with the punks and the Rastas was rebellion. So
Mm.
that's what brought them that common thing they had
That was the
was rebel
crossroads.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rebel music, but a lot of the white bands, biggest example I can give is the Clash,
Mm.
also and Killing Joke. They weren't they weren't racist, so they embraced soul music, reggae music, and the reggae artists, some of them, and the soul and rock, black bands and whatnot, embraced the punk sound. So it was natural, and I believe Bob Marley did a song about it. Um, oh man, the name escapes me, but he did a song about that coming together of the reggae and punk sound. It may have been punky reggae, but um, yeah. So I mean, the Bad Brains, and they were like, we later found out that they were. that their influences, man, they were like they used to play like covers of Return to Forever, Chick
Mm,
Corea's band with Stanley Clark.
yeah.
So that's how they knew these different chords, and they can play fast and slow up, speed up. They could play everything start stop on the dime. So because they had that Return to Forever influence, and so they took it to the punk sound, and because what the bass player says, they wasn't making any money
Mm,
doing that. But at the time, what was starting to sell, pick up was, the punk movement. So they ended up influencing a lot of bands, like punk bands like Minor Threat, Black Flag, everybody. A lot of punk bands held them in high regard, and they were from DC. And the name of that first tape, and that first album was ironically was called Banned in DC because they were banned from all the clubs in DC because they was too wild. So they couldn't get a gig. So they had to go to New York, blah, 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 made it out here to California where everybody loved them. So it was like they didn't look back to DC. They was just banned. So, but check out their documentary called Band in DC. They played on the word. It's the letter, A, and then band as in a band. It's a great documentary, man.
all right. Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
I would like to go deeper with them with all of these bands, man, but that's for the sake of time.
All right. Well, but man, I'll tell you what, we're gonna keep it moving. I got one that I'm pretty sure a lot of other people got their influences from, and the main thing with this band is that they lead singer, guitarist, he got his influence from some obscure places as well too. So this was their debut album. Crazy loop with this. Check this out, okay? Tell me what you think. Yeah, so I'm gonna let that rock in the back. This being their debut album, I got a real late pass on the whole Hendrix thing, man. My dude, Kevin Sawyer, he was into Jimmy and Joe Satriani or something like that. Anyway, he was all into the heavy lead guitar players, right? And once I really started to feel it, not just hear it, when I started to feel what this cat was doing, man, it was very inspirational. And like I said, just to hear someone take the guitar and do it with the rhythm, and they was even turning the beats around. And this was back in 1967, man. I mean, a lot of folks probably have turned stuff around before and did it, but this right here, this was the kick in the old butt for me to say, yeah, the Jimi Hendrix Experience is definitely going to be on my list. We all know we lost Jimmy way too soon. I want to say at the age of 27, man. You know, the great seem to always something that happens around 27. And man, I still hear his influence in music today, especially the people that are still doing funk music, such as myself and other folks, you. It's always gonna be there, you know. And I'm not saying taking the notes note for note, but for just that experimental stuff to ask you the question, are you experienced, basically? I mean, can you relate? I mean, you just put on Bad Brains. I mean, you went deep with it, showing how versatile that they were. And that's Jimmy was that, and still is doing that. It always seems like it's a new release by Jimmy every other week, man. They're finding more and more stuff in the vaults, as they say. So
The estate.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it moving, man. That's my my take on Jimmy. I mean, I could be here, for a long time talking about, how many hits he had and how great he was, but y'all can do your research and go to Wikipedia and figure all that stuff out. But this was groundbreaking stuff, man. It changed the way the guitar player was up front now, and he wasn't being quiet or playing in the corner on the side of the stage like he was back when he was with the Isley Brothers. I mean, now I don't know how
Little
true this
Richard.
is. Yeah, and look, you're right. I don't know. I guess he was just too much and would have to be like, okay, man, you need to go do you because you taking it, you taking the fame from me, whoever the main act
See
was.
the documentary with Little Richard?
What what what
Fuck yeah.
go ahead,
They're
shine
coming to
some light.
see me, not
Uh,
you. I can't have them come see you. This my man.
See, and I'm so glad that he was, and thousands of us are glad that he said that, so that he was willing to get out there on his own and do his thing, man. Because definitely left an impression on thousands, if not millions of folks, man. All right, man. So let me flip this back to you, and you can get one more in the chamber, see how we doing, and whoever else you ready to share, go right ahead. Which leads into your next favorite.
For my other, and this was a local band here in the Bay Area.
Mm.
Bruce Lewis, Will Shatter, rest in peace. Steve DePasse, and Ted Falcone. Four members. Made lots of noise.
Why does Ted
A beat.
Falcone sound familiar? That name.
You probably heard of him. Last Will knows him.
Okay. Okay.
He talks about he
Okay. Yeah.
has
All
him on his
right.
show sometimes on Calex and whatnot. But they had a number of singles that came out, and one was called Love Canal, and the other one was Ha 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 Ha. And they tripping. But when they were tight though, because it was this noise to a beat. And but when they dropped their first album though, this one
Mm.
here,
Generic flipper
it's just,
album.
it,
It gets no more generic than that, does it? God, oh
yeah, it was like what?
man,
And just for those people that didn't know who the band was, it was like they tripped. But those of us that knew, it was like, oh yeah, that's classic. That's that flipper attitude. Yeah, they was something else, man. Yeah, I wish I had that queued up. Um, but you know, I don't know, man. They were just one of them out of this world bands that just. I remember seeing them at Berkeley Square. I had won some tickets on Calex,
hmm
and um, so I got to. Nobody wanted to come, so I had to invited my cousin. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm all for it. Let's go check
and
him out."
like, nah, I ain't messing with them, Tone. No, no thanks, blood.
Uh, But
I'm waiting for Funkadelic to show up in Berkeley, man.
yeah, so I mean, but to me that was like because Funkadelic had broke up, man. It was like
Yeah,
after that um Electric Spanking album, it was a
yeah.
void, man.
Oh
So
man, was it?
you know,
Oof,
and
foofa.
everybody was going disco, or
For
the closest thing was like Talking Heads, but
yeah, and that was
but for
burnt.
them
That
to
was Bernie giving them some keys on that.
yeah, this is like for the sake of time, I'm just gonna use this one song as a you know example with it, what sound it came with. That, I mean, just listen to the feedback.
Feedback, distorted bass.
And yeah, and that's exactly what the feedback was coming from both the bass and the guitar. So if you watching them live, dude, and we didn't know that, right? So we up there at the show, Berkeley Square. No, it wasn't the Berkeley Square, it was the Keystone, Berkeley. Man, and they was playing with two other bands, No Alternative and the Dead Kennedys. And I already knew about the Dead Kennedys, but so we watching them flipper playing. People throwing stuff on stage,
Damn.
get off the stage, oh, y'all too loud, whatever. The lead singer, and they would switch. The lead singer would switch with the bass player, and then that other bass player would become the lead singer, and then that other first lead singer would play the bass. So those two would switch off. So when the one that was singing, Bruce, they was throwing stuff at him, man.
Damn.
The beer bottles hitting the bass drum.
Wow.
So after he was done singing that one song, he left the stage.
Like I'm done, dude.
And no, he went to the bar,
Oh.
got him a pitcher of beer, right?
Oh shit.
Got back on stage, started talking something, and dude, he took the pitcher of beer and
No.
slung it up, and all the beer went up in the air. And the second one he did, he threw it, and he threw the pitcher up there and it broke
Oh.
here on the ceiling, and it started raining glass and beer. And after that, man, they just turned the feedback all the way up and just like left it there. And it was, it was like, and me and my cousin, we just sitting there listening. After the set was over, we had to go outside, man. Our ears was ringing.
I
Couldn't hear the
can
next band, the Dead Kennedys good.
Oh
I think
man.
my ears was ringing for about like 3 or 4 days after that. But but
Oh
that was
man.
my band, man, out here in the Bay. That was my favorite local band out
Oh
here. One
man.
of them. But yeah, all time, yeah.
Leper. Oof. All right. We were talking about um how Jimmy was playing with the Isley Brothers back in the day. So I'm play a little something. You know, I always got something queued up, a little isolated track. It's not from this album that turned me on to the Isley Brothers, but this is an actually isolated track. Somehow, man, don't ask me. These are the original tracks for this song. I don't know how I got it. Somebody gave it to me. So what, but these aren't stems. These are the actual individual tracks that have been digitized. So I just I isolated my favorite part. So let me see. Let's see if we can get some. So definitely
Voyage to Atlantis.
Voyage to Atlantis, but this is actually this song called "That Lady" that
Okay.
used to be called "Who's That Lady?" Right? Let me bring up
Who's
everything.
that lady?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not going. I know they'll hit me with the algorithm if I let that roll.
Hmm. Yeah, that was
So that's why I just said let me just tease it a little. But I didn't know that this song was actually a cover song of something they had did back, something that they had did back in 1964. This version that we're listening to, this guitar part, that actually came out in 1973. But they did a song called "Who's That Lady," and then they ended up re-releasing it 9 years later called "That Lady," the one that we kind of all know. So, quick little
you have
story.
the first one?
I don't have it queued up. I'll let the
Okay.
people go find it. It's available on, Apple Music and Spotify and all of the rest of them. But it's nothing like this. You can hear all of the Hendrix
Mhm.
influence on this. Right. So the story goes, my dad, many years ago, he was messing around with the music business a little bit, and he got me and DJ V some tickets to see the Isley Brothers when this Go for the Guns albums tour was happening.
Okay.
And what really, I mean, like I said, Jimmy was that influence, but to see Ernie doing this type of stuff, we were right. He got us some passes, right? But we were actually able to get on stage, and we was right to the right of Ernie on stage. And man, once again, mind blown. I think, let me see. So if that was 77. So this is around, I've seen the mothership land already. So I was like, it's going to be a tough act to follow. So what's going on here?
Yeah.
But, I was never on stage with George back then. I was just a participant, right? So, but to be a participant and be like arm's length from somebody getting down like this, what we hearing going on in the background, and I think
Actually watching it
actually watching it, and I'm only what 15, 14 years old. Yeah, I said this is something for me, man. So shout out to the Isley brothers, Ernie Isley, him and his big brother Ronald. The last two surviving members, man. They still doing their thing, but they got history that go back to the 50s, man. And still doing some stuff, man. Yeah, yeah. Much love to Ernie and to Ron. Keep on funking, y'all. And like I said, I'm not gonna go through the whole. They got so many albums, man. We'll be here for another. That'll
they
be another.
history is
Yeah,
deep.
they history is beyond deep, man. We recently lost Chris Jasper, who I heard
Yeah.
Philly Phil talking about how when he interviewed him, how deep he didn't know how much of that newer sound, that funk sound for the '70s came from Chris. But man, that right there, what we hearing,
Ernie.
yeah, that's Ernie, man. And I'm gonna say, keep on funking, man. Keep doing it, Ernie. All right, man. So that's my Isley brothers. We need to take another break, and we'll be right back after this. And we are back.
Right.
Let's see what's
Okay.
going on.
Yeah, this next one was became a favorite of mine because this one was played in the household again, where I would take what I liked out of my mother or stepfather's collection, and it would end up in my room,
Hmm.
especially if I noticed they didn't listen to it that much or just for one song. And that would be this one here.
Uh, okay. You got to educate me on that one. I don't remember that one. Straight Mississippi special.
Yeah, this is Mel Brown, jazz funk blues artist. Um, this was his fifth album. It's called Mel Brown's Fifth. And you see they got a fifth
Fifth.
of bottled funk on the cover.
Oh
And
man.
that's what it says. Astro Flash bottled in funk,
Mm.
4/5 quart, good stuff, which is the name of a song on the album. 198 proof. Mel Brown's distilled from soul, straight Mississippi special. This stuff is at least 6 weeks old,
Hey.
packaged and handled by Mel Brown. That was a tripped out concept. I used to look for that bottle because I was little, you know. The back cover, him and his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, who was a blues artist himself. This is the inside. It's a trip.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, it was a gatefold.
Yeah.
And funny thing was to me was it was on the label ABC, actually Impulse, but it had the ABC logo on it
Mm.
right next to Impulse.
Oh, okay. Must have been
And
a subsidiary or something.
yeah, I was tripping. I said, "What? ABC got record record label?" But yeah. So that that album was mm, man. I'd play the whole album, and my mother didn't like. She bought it for one song, of course, but I got when I got a hold of it, I listened to it front to back, and this is what I would hear when I play it front to back.
I didn't forget nothing. For the 21st time, I guess not.
Mm.
That's not a bass either.
Mm.
That's that B3.
Yeah, that B3 can get deeper than the bass.
Mm-hmm. Play the bass with your foot. Okay. And what intrigued me about the album was like how things would sag into each other. Like right when one song ends, it would just go to the next one like this.
Mm.
I mean, listen to the drummer's foot though.
Man, I was just thinking that. It's syncopation though too.
Mm-hmm. And when you find out who it is, you don't crack up. Okay, then from there it goes into a blues song about the 747 airport blues. Okay. So after that, the songs would sag into each other.
Mm-hmm.
After that blues one, it would go into this. Here like that spacey stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this comes up. Now this is the song my mother had bought it for.
What's the name of this one?
This song, this is called Love Potion.
Mm.
And it's spelled LUV. So this was like, now, when was this out? I think it was 70. This was before 71. Yeah, okay. So I was in the kindergarten or first grade, depending on what time of the year it came out. But it was around that time. It got that funkadelic. So this was in that same household where that was coming from. And I mean, it just grooves like this for about 10 minutes. Then when it gets to the end,
Got the cuckoo bird on there.
and, yeah, and that's not the bass, that's the B3. But yeah, this cuckoo clock, when that come on, the funniness about this album is the groove didn't go all the way to the label. It just stayed once it got to the end of the label, it just looped until you took the needle up, pulled the needle up.
Oh, like
He faded it out, but
right. You can hear it. I can hear the loop going. Yeah, it's a
yeah, it
trip.
would just loop like if you, sometimes I would let it loop just to drive people crazy. And on the other side, the B side, the song at the end does the same thing where they talking and they say somebody that's okay. He's gonna paint it, gonna paint it, gonna paint it, gonna paint it, and you say gonna paint it forever until you take it off.
Dang,
So yeah, that's the way the album went. Like flowed with no pauses except for you to turn it over to side two.
dang.
Everything saved into each other. Uh, that I like, so I think that influenced me a lot as far as when it, you know, that kind of triggered my interest in mixing DJ mix. I always had a thing to want to mix songs like that, just or even if they didn't, just like if I ever put out an album, I want my songs to go into each other like that without pausing. I just like that. I just love that idea of that. But funny thing about this now, here's where it gets funny. And I'm gonna read you some names and see if you recognize any of them. Onion Miller. You recognize that name?
Nah, who's
Okay.
Onion Miller?
Any of our 17 subscribers out there, if you're familiar with Onion Miller, let us know. Carl Vickers, Jake Riley, Lorenzo Carnegie, Toby Butler. And here's the one that will you should all know. At this time, he went by Jeff Osborne. So he's better known as Jeffrey Osborne. That was
Ah,
his band. That was Mel Brown's band for this album. And those names that I mentioned, they all went on to form LTD.
LTD. Yeah.
So that's what was the trip about this album. He's like later, LTD, they was pretty good too. Remember them? Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So,
Many hits.
hmm then Jeffrey Osborne finally stepped out from behind the drums, become a solo artist
Yeah, the
singing.
drummer was in the pocket on that first track that you was playing. So yeah, I see why. Yeah, you had the chops.
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right, man. We're gonna keep it moving on this one. We're gonna move at the speed of light on this one because this next artist, we can do another whole thing all by itself. But I'm gonna bring it back just because of one of the episodes we said back when we was in music class. And I will say no more.
Don't tell me this. Don't tell me this.
You know what it is, because somebody said, you're not playing it right. So, I'm going to send a special shout out just to let folks know that, yeah, we know how to play it right.
There you go. And isolated.
Yeah. Look what we can do now, music people. Yeah. So, lo and behold, someone is funking with the Stevie Wonder control. Man, this song, like I said, was one of the ones that we dug in middle school, and it was the horns, man.
Yeah.
So
I was digging on that little banjo kind of banjo sound too.
wasn't it Talma? I mean, I'll put up the correction on the screen, but once he got his full release to start doing what he wanted to do and not having to follow the Motown formula, man, it was over.
Right.
It was over.
Yeah.
Looks like in 2014 he also was honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, man. So
Mm.
I remember back in the 80s, 1980, when they was trying to do a campaign just to get Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a holiday. So you know what he did? He made a song. So uh
Yeah, didn't he came out here to Oakland for that too?
man, that was major. I mean, a lot
That's
of
how we
folks,
got Martin Luther King Boulevard out here.
but man, listen to me. And that's what I'm saying. See, a lot of cats don't understand that that holiday wasn't always granted to us. We had to fight for it. It didn't become a federal holiday until 2009. Come on, man. But anyway,
And I think Arizona still don't recognize it.
oh man, I think it's two of them and Alaska, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll put that
Yeah,
correction up on the screen when we come back around.
but it
Oh
don't
yeah.
matter. We gonna celebrate it anyway.
We celebrate it anyway. I mean, and some companies don't celebrate it. I remember for years before when I was employed back in my work, and I would have to sign up for that day to take it off because that company that I was working with didn't honor it as a federal holiday. Say it's not a federal holiday, so we're not giving it to you as a holiday. I said, well, you know what? I'm taking that day, and that's how we had to do our little rebellion with that. So,
He said,
all
"I'm
right,
taking the day off."
I wait. Phil Jones will not be here. When they do
Left
their
the
roll
building.
call, they do like Phil Jones, Phil Jones.
Yeah,
No, not here. So yeah, man. Much, much, much love to Stevie. He's still writing, still doing positive songs. Like I said, this could have been another whole episode by itself with Stevie, but I just want to let everybody know that we rock with Stevie through and through. All right, and with that, man, I'm gonna keep it moving because I want us to get to our finale of what we're gonna have for episode 7. Make sure we get not to get them out the way, but cover everybody else that we had on our list. So I'm turning it back over to you.
okay. Well, this one is another one that was in the household when I was younger. That and it was actually I knew I'd heard the band, the songs, because my mother played a lot of their music, um, Stax Records, right?
Mm.
And they actually did a soundtrack to a movie, and we watched it one time. And she went and bought the soundtrack, and they had
Mm.
it for one song, of course. But me, I like to listen to the whole thing,
You
right?
get in between the cracks in the tracks,
Uh,
man.
and I sit between the speakers.
Hmm.
This one here,
Oh, uptight. What was I say?
yeah,
Booker T. Jones and the
yep,
MGs. Booker T and the
yeah.
MGs. Oh
Booker T and
man.
the MGs.
Okay.
And if you get a chance, watch the movie. It has Max Julian is in it,
Oh man. Wait a minute. Hold on.
and
Max Julian. You know who that is?
yeah, the Mac. And but check it out.
Oakland, California is where they
I
made the
forget his
Mac.
name. The name escapes me now, but him
Uh, let me-
played Pretty Tony. He's in it.
yeah. Yeah.
He's in it.
Oh
And
man.
yeah,
So
it's a
what was
trip.
the name of the movie?
Uptight.
Oh, Uptight. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it was based on the original story was I think it was about an Irish rebellion. Um so they made it into they redid that story into the black version for Uptight, and it was centered in Cleveland.
Mm.
Um it was Cleveland or Chicago. I think it was Cleveland. But it was during the Black Power movement, uprising and all that. That's what they turned this one into. So yeah, it was a trippy movie. Uh, it's a trip. It's about are you gonna be a rebel? Or are you gonna sell out?
Dang.
But I'm you know, give a little bit of what was on that soundtrack, what lied on that. Uh,
Yeah.
the funny thing, it was like when they started going like from mono to stereo,
Hmm.
the separation on these were like the drums would be on the left side
The drums would be all the way over.
all the way to yeah, it wasn't panned in the middle. It was all the way to the left side.
So you can get another
Uh,
whole different mix. I mean, even back then, if you just
yeah,
turned off the right
exactly.
speaker and hooked it
That's
up to
yeah,
on the same side.
and that's what I would do. I would play the song just with the left speaker, just play it again with just the right speaker, and just trip on that in itself.
Hey, that was
So
early isolation.
yeah,
If you think about it, that's all that was, man. And he turned it up on those congas, man. Dang. Got a little bit of that Superfly influence. Now just
exploitation sound.
I'm talking about. I'm just not even getting into the exploitation side. Just it's number one. It's instrumental, right? And Curtis, when he did that Superfly album, the music was phenomenal, and I can hear some of those influences in it.
Yeah,
Now I don't know who came first, them or Curtis, but yeah, they knew, man. Those congas, eh, they just put it to another whole vibe. See, and they
yeah,
on-
it was
and they only on the right side over here too.
that's what I'm saying, man. Then when the drums would come in, this one don't have drums. That was just
No,
but
we just gonna rock with the congas. Cool.
yeah, that's just how that that was another one of my household influences stuck with me.
Right on. Well, I got one that's gonna throw you for a loop. You ready for this?
What's that?
While you, while you was bad
I know you
braining,
gonna isolate it.
while you was bad braining it and doing all this other good stuff, I kind of I took a different I mean because all this stuff was happening around the same time, so I kind of took a little different. I think you made the right turn, I made the left, and then we kind of met somewhere in the middle. So tell me, do you recognize this?
Yeah, I know this. When problems come along,
All right, man. All right, are you gonna sing it? All right, okay.
nah, I mean, but dude, before you get started, tell me
Mm.
this: when you first got up on Devo, was it their performance on Saturday Night Live
No, no.
when they
I
did?
went back on that. I didn't really
Okay,
I didn't get into these cats until this right here. That's what I'm saying. All these songs I'm playing is kind of like the experience that what made me say, "Ooh, let me get back and figure them out." Because
right.
that other stuff I didn't understand at all. Even this is kind of this was
That's funny. That's when most black people got up on Devo was with it.
well. I guess I fall into that category, huh? Jeez. So with I remember there was a club down in Fremont I used to go to, and I forget the name of it, but they were playing this, man, and I was like, "What are we supposed to do to this? It's going at 159 beats per minute. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, can, can we slow? Can we add like something like this and slow it down?
Uh,
See, I probably could have got busy with it if it was that, but nah, nah, nah. That would have been too funky for him. So, I mean, they they to me just showed me like how they could do the simplest stuff and work with it. It wasn't the production wasn't 15 different people playing 13 different things and all over the place. They were able to break it down, very simple chords, simple progression with some little catchy lyrics. So, and once I got into what the concept of Devo was, that's when I said, "Oh man, okay." And Devo stood
and
for
what is that?
that was de-evolution. So instead of evolving, it's like the culture, humans are de-evolving. And man, with all the crazy stuff going on in the world right now,
Mm,
some of these humans, hmm. But that's another whole
evolve.
story too, man. I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, it's I I dig Devo to this day, man. If you check out on that first album I put out, I did a little ode to them called Planet P, and it's
Mark Mother's Ball.
yeah, man. Planet P was very similar to this whole vibe that they're doing. So check that out. Got links and stuff provided for you, and we're gonna keep this moving. Throwing it back to you, brother.
I'm gonna go with uh another one of my guitar heroes. That would be Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Uh Mind you, yeah, I'm one of those that's particular to the David Lee Roth era. Sammy Hagar era was good, but the David Lee Roth era was the era that I love.
Dave was the front man,
Second
dude.
album.
Dave was he added that spice, man.
Yeah. And the third album.
Oh, look at you. You got you see
Oh yeah.
you busting out albums on me, man. Look at you. Bam,
Fourth album.
bam,
The fifth album. Now the
bam.
sixth album, 1984, I don't have because to me that was a little too commercial, but it's a good album.
Wait a minute, that
But
ain't the one that dude sampled Wild Thing on, is it? Down,
nah,
down.
that's from the first
Wow,
album.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's from the first album, and
okay.
that song is called Jamie's Crying.
Jamie's
That's
crying. Yeah, see, I went back
that's
and did my
on here.
research for that one. I was like, man,
Yeah.
why would he? Wait a minute, just before you go, why would you sample that part? I'm just
Now, if I played it, you know why. And they have the isolated tracks in it too, but
okay.
I didn't pick that one because I want to I want to focus on my favorite album by them, which is this one here
Mm.
uh, called Fair Warning.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the Van Halen fans felt like that album was not their best or whatever. Some say it was too dark, but yeah, well, they were going through some things,
Mm.
so that may have reflected in the album in the studio recordings. I understand he just put a studio in his home because they didn't have the freedom in the studio like everyone thought they did. So he
Mm.
finally put the studio in his home, but there were issues, some issues. Then which direction is the band gonna go in? However, when you listen to this album, if you're a Van Halen fan, you'll know they was going through something. And you hear it. But one of my standout tracks on there on that album is this one. It was like that Jimmy, he did a lot of he made a lot of sounds, and his style of playing was I don't know, man. He's a very musical child from the beginning. I believe he played drums first, and his brother played guitar. Brother Alex, which was the drummer, so they ended up switching instruments. Because
And
I think
just look at
full
that
the story.
stack. Look at that stack that he has behind him, man. Just
I know,
is this in the studio? I mean, gosh,
yeah,
dog, man.
yeah. And
That's
then
that's
right here, I'm
crazy.
circling Dave's foot because he
Mm,
broke his toe
mm.
while he was rehearsing or doing something. I think it's a stage jumping or whatever he's doing. But yeah, it was a little more bluesy and funkier on this album to me. And the fact that they was going through a lot, uh, to me means that this is a more soulful album because they had to, they was doing some soul searching, and it comes out in the music on this album. So,
Cool.
uh,
Yep. And you
another
know
one of
what?
my faves.
We're gonna have to take another break, and we'll be right back after this.